So the next wine I want to tell you about is a wine that was named one of the best wine in the world. So this is a cool article that we can send you. I think Jamie is planning on sending it to you guys. This is Antonio Valerio. He is the story behind Campi Valerio and trying to put Molise on the map on the global stage. And this is how humble this person is. This article was written in 2017. I received this article last year. I've been trying to sell these wines for 3 years in the US, 3.5 years in the US market. He sends me this last year. And every year, there's a wine fair that's called Vinitaly. And it takes place in Verona, in Romeo and Giulietta's town. And it's a B2B, it's a wholesale trade show. And it's the biggest wine fair, Italian wine fair in the world. And so every year they take wines from all around the world, not just Italy, French wines, Croatian wines, and Spanish, and even American wines. And a panel of their peers taste every single wine. And this is an article that came from Vinitaly, Vinofera show. And that put Tintilia in the top 5 best wines in the world, next to the Sassicaia of the world, next to the Brunellos and the Barolos of the world, and the French Bordeaux. So that was quite an achievement for Antonio Valerio, coming from a region that's known for the sheep roaming around and Italians making fun of it. And what is Tintilia? What is Opalia? Well, it's the next wine that we are going to be lucky to taste, and that's the wine I have in my glass. So it is a dark, inky, fantastic, unique little bad boy, because this is a wine you have never had. And you can gift it to someone as expert as they are. The only place that had this wine when it first came to the US was Del Posto restaurant in New York City, which is a Michelin restaurant. That was the only place in America that you could find Opalia from Antonio Valerio, from Campi Valerio, because it is the only Tintilia that they could import. And Del Posto, as a Michelin star, they needed to have every region represented. And that's the wine that they specially imported for their book. This is the crème de la crème. This is the wine that represents Molise. And the grape that we have here is called Tintilia. It's very bizarre name. I'll tell you, you can find Tintilia in Spain, which is a complete different grape. They're not even clones or close to being related. So this is an indigenous grape. The region of Molise produces only 2% of Tintilia. So the production is so small. So here we're 100% Montepulciano. The malolactic fermentation is done in barrique. But here again, we're using stainless steel for this wine. And you're tasting, I don't know, Sharon, are you in the 2000, did you deliver 2015 or 16? Because
it's the 16.
Okay, so we switched 2 weeks ago. We closed 15 vintage, and we are in a 2016 vintage. This wine can age. It can go probably another 2 years to properly show what it's meant to show. It could use some decanting, but it's inky, it's purple, it's unique. It's just its own world. And when I taste this wine, for me, it's like when I type Molise and I see the word obscure. Like, it's just that gem and that thing that's just so unique and unparalleled to any other grape, from Italy, or even. And I would love for you to unmute yourself, because that's one thing I always ask people that taste this wine, is to ask them what it reminds them of in terms of comparison to another grape. So, Jamie, when you tasted this, what does it remind you of? And I'll tell you, I've heard it all. I've heard comparison to every grape, and yet no one really gets it, kind of puts it next to each other.
Yeah,
It's definitely unique. There's not necessarily one grape to me that, immediately stands out. I think it has some of kind of the darker fruit qualities and maybe not quite as tannic as Aglianico, but it reminds me a touch of that, almost maybe like an in-between between Aglianico and Montepulciano. But I'm definitely getting a lot more darker fruits. I'm definitely getting a little bit more tannic structure. One question that I might have is you mentioned how the wine can evolve over time. And I think that that's generally a concept that sometimes can be a touch confusing. So what would you expect out of this wine in maybe 2 to 5 years of just further bottle age?
So because I've been with this winery, representing this winery for 4 years, I've done vertical tasting with them. Obviously, I've been at the estate. I've tried there 2010. I've tried 2009, and it's impressive. From the critiques, from what the feedbacks I've been getting for 4 years, is this is the wine that could compare to a big Bordeaux. You could think some Cabernet Franc. You could go, and why? And it's such a beautiful thing for Antonio to hear, is to be able in the south of Italy to create a wine that resembles the qualities of a Bordeaux, meaning that it's one that's going to evolve in a bottle. That's going to, I was once told that a wine is good when, as it gets older, it gets younger. Something that's remarkable with Opalia, with this Tintilia grape, is, for me, I've tasted it and I've still got that freshness. I have yet to taste an Opalia where you had that rust color, where you had the oxidation coming through. I have yet to do that. So I've had the 2008, I've had 2009, and I had yet to see any oxidation from this grape. There's another wine that I'll tell you about after that. So I think this is a wine that stays fresh and yummy and just very, very pleasing and but yet subtle and just its own world. I welcome any feedback if anyone wants to share their palate taste, what they feel when they have this wine.